This is the 2025 Lenovo IdeaPad Pro 5, and I've already reviewed a different model in the not so distant past, but this time we're going AMD, baby. And let me tell you, this AMD processor absolutely crushes it in a very few unique ways. Now, Lenovo and AMD did send this laptop out and partner on this video. Now, from a design standpoint, this thing is drop dead gorgeous. You've got this stunning metallic exterior that screams, I have my life together. Even if you're eating cereal for dinner again, the entire chassis is metal and the front is so clean with just the Lenovo logo sitting pretty in the middle. Now, when you pick this up, it feels premium in your hands. They've rounded off the edges so it won't slice your fingers like some laptops that apparently hate their users. And get this, they made it light enough that you won't need a chiropractor after carrying it around all day. We're talking about 1.73 kilograms, which is just under 4 pounds. Now, they didn't skimp out on the I/O either. On the left-hand side, you have your proprietary power connector. You've also got an HDMI 2.1 port, 2 USB 4.0 ports, and a combo audio jack. On the other side, you have 2 USB-A ports and a full-size SD card slot. Your power button is chilling just below it. Now, I know some of you are already typing angry comments about side-mounted power buttons, but look, you can accidentally turn it off when you move the laptop when you pick it up. I get it, I really do, but hear me out. When you're back at your desk setup, okay, and you're sitting down and this thing is connected to an external monitor and the laptop is closed, you can power it on without opening it up like some kind of laptop whisperer. It's actually a better way to power your laptop. Now, this is the Luna Gray model, but there's also a blue version for those of you who want to feel like you're living in a Windows XP wallpaper. The reverse notch design means there's a little space underneath to open it up with one hand, and the display itself actually goes almost flat to the table. But once you're in, you're greeted by a full-size keyboard with a numeric keypad. They bumped up the key travel from last year's measly 1.3 millimeters to a very respectable 1.5. Now, that might not sound like much, but it's the difference between typing on a rock and actually feeling like a keyboard warrior. So if you've used a Lenovo keyboard before, you know they're basically the comfort food of keyboards. Those U-shaped keys feel nice to type on with that perfect 0.1 millimeter dish where your fingers just rest so nicely. They even gave us full-size arrow keys, which is more than some other laptops can say. Your Copilot key is hanging out on the right side, and the touchpad is a generous size. It's mechanical, not haptic, but it gets the job done. Also, the keys aren't RGB. I mean, this isn't a gaming rig, so you don't want that, but you do get adjustable backlighting, or you can set it to auto mode, which basically reads the room better than most people at parties. But here's one of the best features about this laptop. It's the display. This 16-inch beauty is absolutely stunning. It's 16:10 aspect ratio, so you get more vertical space. It's 2.8K, it's OLED, and it's 120 Hz with variable refresh rate. Looking at this display literally brings tears to my eyes in a good way. Now, we're talking about 500 nits of SDR brightness and 1100 nits peak brightness. Whether you're casually gaming, being productive, or creating content that 3 people will see on Instagram, this display makes everything look amazing. Okay, this is what the 1080p webcam looks like. I'm using nothing but natural light. It's sort of a sunny day, but kind of cloudy, I guess. You guys let me know how it looks, but also how do the microphones sound. Software-wise, Lenovo includes their Vantage software, so you can troubleshoot, diagnose, and adjust all your device settings. But if you want maximum performance, there's a Geek Performance mode that only works when the laptop is actually plugged in. Look, I found Performance mode to be good enough for most tasks, but if you want AI to intelligently detect what you're doing, probably procrastinating, Adaptive Power mode keeps the fans quieter. Now, Lenovo has thrown in some neat features like presence detection, which senses when you're in front of your computer and logs you in faster, but also dims the display and locks it when you walk away. It's like having a responsible friend who remembers to lock your car when you forget, except that friend lives in your laptop. The speakers are bottom firing and sound okay. They're acceptable like cafeteria pizza. It'll do the job, but don't expect miracles. Now, if you're into the AI craze, this is a Copilot Plus certified PC with over 45 TOPS of performance using AMD's Ryzen AI 7 CPU. You can summon Copilot by tapping the taskbar or use features like Click to Do, which I actually use more than I care to admit. It does give context to pictures and provides information based on what's your screen. Now, personally, I mostly use it to remove the backgrounds of images I download. The MPU also handles webcam processing, which means better efficiency, longer battery life, and quieter fans. Your CPU and GPU can focus on more important things like keeping up with your 47 Chrome tabs. Now, performance-wise, my unit does pack an AMD Ryzen AI 7 350 processor with a Radeon 860M, 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5X memory, that gorgeous 16-inch OLED display, and 2 terabytes of NVMe SSD storage. Single-core clock speeds are impressive compared to previous models, and multi-core performance is exactly where it should be. Now, this isn't a 4K video editing monster. If you need that, there's a version with an NVIDIA RTX 5050 that'll give you 8 gigabytes of RAM and more GPU muscle. Now, don't get me wrong, this thing can edit videos, but you'll need to manage your expectations. Vertical videos, all day long. 4K edits, you're better off with the version that has a dedicated GPU, but it's still good enough to quickly make any small changes. For web browsing, compiling code, and modern web applications, this thing flies. Even under full load, it stays relatively quiet, maxing it out around 46 decibels, which you'd only hit if you're really pushing it. Most of the time, it purrs along at 40 or even lower. As for gaming, well, this isn't a gaming laptop per se, but the 860M can handle games if you're willing to tweak the settings. Now, I did get Overwatch running at 1920 by 1200 on high settings, pulling about 60 to 80 FPS. With VRR, it felt smooth as butter. Now inside, we do have 2 thick copper heat pipes to help keep everything cool with 2 big fans. We can't upgrade the RAM that's soldered on to the motherboard, but the Wi-Fi card is swappable. This one happens to be Wi-Fi 7, and you have 2 slots for storage. One of them can support a 2280, but this one is stuck with a 2240. Read and write speeds are good on both of these drives. Now look, the battery, 84 watt hours. Now, I can't do a proper battery test on this. This is an engineering sample, but Lenovo did a Wi-Fi rundown test, and it got through the entire day, even more without any issues. But I've used tons of AMD Ryzen processors before, so I kind of know what to expect. This will easily give you all-day battery life without having to plug in. And if you need to, it does support rapid charge. So here's the bottom line. The Lenovo IdeaPad Pro 5 with AMD's Ryzen AI 7 350 excels when it comes to battery life. It's just really good, at least based on other laptops with this chip that I've tested. It basically gives you an integrated GPU that punches above its weight class. It's very similar to the one that's in the Legion Go. And look, it's just an efficient laptop overall while giving you this gorgeous display that you get to look at every single day. And if you're very sensitive to PWM flicker, this thing does a really good job. Nothing really kicks in until brightness is so low that you can barely see what's on the screen. Now, if you're interested in checking this out, I'll drop a link in the description. But as always, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. I'll answer as many of them as I can while pretending I actually have a social life. Smash that like button if this helped you out. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.